Sadhgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai, and welcome to Jagadambe Reads the Holy Books of India, Bhaktavijaya177. As you may remember, the merchant was upset because it seemed that the god would not accept his offering. The merchant came back to Narahari and patiently requested him, saying to Narahari, "Come to the temple yourself, look at the holder of the disc, Krishna, and with your own hand place the waistband on him, and then you may come back." The lesson Narahari learned about the oneness of Krishna and Shiva. He, Narahari, replied, "I am observing a vow, and I have never thus far been to see Krishna in his temple. I have never as yet looked upon any deity except Shiva." Narahari covered his eyes with a cloth and went to the temple. Seeing him blindfolded, the citizens of the place laughed as though it was exceedingly strange. They said, "It is as if a poor person should close his eyes when seeing treasure on the ground." Such we understand to be the point of view of Narahari. Or he is like one who leaves his Chintamani, wish stone, jewel at home and in vain wanders about to different bathing places. So is this closing of his eyes and going to look at the god. Others remarked, just as one with fever is not fond of dainty food, so the dweller of Vaikuntha does not come into the thought of Narahari. Others remarked, each one knows his own caste well. What is his caste to us? Thus the various classes of men talked among themselves. With his eyes blindfolded, the goldsmith Narahari came to the great door of the temple, and the merchant held him by the hand and guided him inside. Someone laughed and said, "Make a prostrate namaskar to the god." Another remarked, "He does not even look at him. How then can he worship the god's feet?" If one will not give a seat to one who comes to his house, will one give him daintily cooked food? If anyone will not listen to the mantras of the bath, will he make religious gifts? Anyone who will not give water to a tulsi plant, will that person take the trouble to circumnambulate it? Anyone who will not make a bow to a good person will certainly not take them home. That person who will not tell a traveler the way will certainly not give them a place in their home. He or she who with his or her lips reviles God's bhaktas will certainly not go to listen to praise services in honor of Hari. That person who will not listen to the praises of the Ganges River will not take a bath in it with all their clothes on. So if Narahari is unwilling to look at the god, he surely will not make a namaskar to him. Well, such were the remarks passed by the men and women. Narahari entered into the temple and groped for the god with his hand. He groped for a form with 10 arms and 5 faces. Around the neck he was adorned with serpent-shaped ornaments. On the head was a beautiful mass of matted hair, and his whole body was marked with the sacred ashes. He wore the skins of an elephant and a tiger. It appeared to Narahari as though it was the blue-throated Shiva, who was actually standing on the brick. He said to himself, "This is the very deity whom I worship. Then why have I in vain closed my eyes?" Thus full of repentance in his heart, he removed the coverings from his eyes and looked at the god. That dark blue complexion one was standing upon a brick with a very brilliant crown upon his head. His glorious face shone with intense purity, and on his neck was the garland Vijayanti and the Kastuba jewel. In his ears were earrings shaped like crocodiles. His chest was wide, his waist was thin. Both his brilliant hands were placed upon his hips. Around his waist he was enveloped by his yellow raiment. Seeing his parallel feet upon the brick, Narahari was astonished. Then, again, blindfolding his eyes, he found his hands touching the form of Shiva. Sadhgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai. Thank you for coming. I hope you come again.